It's about 30 seconds before you have to rush the kids out the door to school, and you're frantically digging through all those papers on the desk or the counter for that permission slip that your child needs right now, today. Okay, that means it's time to get organized.
It is very overwhelming.
Kimberly Meekum is a busy mother of 3, all under the age of 8. Tanner, Kendall, and Decker are all in school, and though Kimberly and her husband Mark are already pretty organized, this time of year the mess can be quite jaw-dropping.
With all 3 of them coming home every day, they each could have easily, every single day, have 3 to 5 things that they bring home.
And all those papers and art projects add up. So we brought in the expert, Laura Leist, with Eliminate Chaos to help. Armed with boxes, baskets, folders, portfolios, and a little elbow grease, Laura gets the family to work, transforming the cluttered refrigerator door, the files in the office, and the art wall in the playroom. After some negotiations...
What would you like to hang back up on your section?
And a whole lot of recycling. The Meekums are organized for the school year. It must feel so great to finally be organized. Okay, here to show us exactly how she helped the Meekums get organized is Laura Leist in the flesh. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
It can be overwhelming, and this is the time of year where you really want to start the year out as organized as possible and then try to maintain that. So you tackled the refrigerator, the office, and the playroom. Let's start with the fridge.
Okay.
What did you do with the refrigerator? And how do you go through that quickly?
So we wanted to start with a clean slate. So we cleared it all off. Because when you're organizing, you don't want to shuffle the stuff around. You want to start fresh, clean it out, sort it into piles.
And it's hard with 3 kids that this family has. It's hard to decide what to take down. You want to keep everything up year after year.
You do, but more stuff's going to come home every day. And you want to have a place to put up the new stuff. So at some point, you got to take down the old.
So you put it into piles, and then how did you decide what went back up on that refrigerator?
What we talked about, what was most important to have every day, like the lunch schedule, the phone numbers, maybe a piece of artwork for each of the children.
Just one piece?
Just one piece is what we decided. Mom didn't want to have a cluttered-looking fridge anymore.
See, that looks really bare now. Woohoo! Moms everywhere saying, let's keep a little bit more up than that. Okay, maybe 2 pieces of artwork.
Okay. They decided 1. That was their plan.
Okay. Now let's go to the office. We looked at what was a pretty cluttered office. That is probably the scariest place to go through, because I'm always afraid I'm going to throw out something that I'm going to want to keep for later.
Right.
So what do you do?
The home office is one of the most challenging areas, but what we did is we just focused on the kids' stuff. And so we started with 1 drawer at a time, and we pulled it all out. And again, we sorted, because it's easier to pull these stuff out and to sort it out down onto the floor, onto a table, and to kind of decide what we want to keep.
So you dump everything out, and then you start putting back in what you need to keep.
Well, and then we sorted it into different areas where it would be saved in different locations in the home.
What would be the must-have items in the office?
So some of the things that we wanted to keep with the parents were the report cards and the progress reports, things that they could access. The kids' schedules, those were important. Those were going to go up on magnetic strips. But the rest of it, the keepsakes, the memorabilia, the homework, we decided to leave that downstairs in each of the children's rooms.
Oh, that's a good idea. You are quite the organizer. That's why you're doing what you're doing for us right now. Let's talk about the playroom, last but not least. That's where you have all of the fun things. Probably another hard room to go through and sift out what you don't really need. So how did you tackle that one?
So we decided to bring in the kids for that. I really feel that it's important to get the kids involved in the decision-making process. So we pulled everything off the bulletin board, we divided it into a pile based by the children's artwork and schoolwork, and then we asked them to help us make the decisions. And that was really key to the success of this, is letting the kids decide. And Mom was there too, helping to make some of the decisions as well.
So who has the tougher time deciding what's going to stay in the playroom like that? The mom or the kids?
Sometimes I think it's the parents.
And once the wall was cleared, how did you decide what went back up on that wall?
What we did is we asked the children to select 3 or 4 items each that they wanted to have up, and we divided the board into thirds.
And then you saved the rest in that really nice notebook for each child.
We did, yes, and that's just one of the children's portfolios. Each child has their own, and then this is an underbed storage box that we use for some of the oversized information.
Instead of
and
folding it
artwork
up
that
and
they brought
having it
home.
ruined, things
That's
that they really
right.
want to keep, and then those go in their little cubbies or under their beds, or
Right. And
terrific.
yeah, these boxes were something that we just picked up at the Container Store, and we were able to just set them on a shelf. They look really nice. They're pretty. They're decorative, and it's close at hand.
organized.
And they're all organized.
Thank
They know where
you,
stuff
Laura.
is.
Thanks
you.
so much. Okay, we're on to a new school year and on our way to being more organized this year, hopefully. Thank you.
Fresh start.
That's
Thanks.